Dwayne Johnson was walking through the bustling streets of Los Angeles when something caught his eye. An old man was sitting on a worn-out bench at the edge of a park, lost in the photos he held in his hands. The sadness and loneliness in the man's eyes touched Johnson's heart. At that moment, though, Johnson didn't know that this encounter wasn't just a coincidence. It was going to be a turning point that would change both of their lives forever. So, who was this old man? And what steps would Johnson take to make a difference in his life? Johnson walked over to the old man. "Hi, is everything okay?" he asked gently. The man looked up at Johnson. His eyes showed the weariness of years and the pain of loss. "Okay?" "I don't know," the man muttered. Johnson sat down on the bench and looked at him more closely. In the photos, there was a young man and a happy family. But now, this man seemed lonely and lost. Johnson felt something stir inside him, but where would this feeling lead him? The old man began to speak in a soft voice. "My name is Henry. I used to be a businessman in this city, but time took everything away." Johnson felt the pain in Henry's words. "What happened?" he asked curiously. Henry took a deep breath and stared at the photos. "I lost my wife and child. I lost everything." Johnson was shocked by these words. What had happened in Henry's life? And how would Johnson touch this wounded heart? As Johnson listened, he noticed a small, faded tattoo on Henry's wrist, a symbol of an anchor. "What does that tattoo mean?" Johnson asked, trying to lighten the mood. Henry's eyes softened as he touched the tattoo. "It's a reminder of my son, Michael. He loved the ocean. We used to go fishing together every weekend. That was before." His voice trailed off, and Johnson didn't press further. But he knew there was more to Henry's story. Johnson started asking Henry more questions. As he listened to his story, he felt something change inside him. Henry had once been a successful businessman, but after losing his family in a tragic car accident, he spiraled into depression. He lost his job, his home, and eventually his will to live. Now, he was living a lonely life, and no one even knew he existed. Johnson realized he wanted to be part of this story. But how? What could he do to change Henry's life? Just then, a young woman jogging by slowed down and glanced at Henry. She hesitated for a moment before approaching. "Mr. Henry, is that you?" she asked, her voice filled with surprise. Henry looked up, squinting at her. "Do I know you?" The woman smiled warmly. "It's me, Emily. I used to work at the cafe near your office. You always tipped so generously and asked about my studies. I'm a teacher now, thanks to your encouragement." Henry's eyes widened in recognition. "Emily, I remember you. You wanted to be a teacher, and now you are. That's wonderful." Emily's smile faded as she noticed the photos in his hands. "Are you okay, Mr. Henry?" she asked with concern. Johnson saw an opportunity and quickly explained Henry's situation. Emily's eyes filled with determination. "Let me help. I know people who can support him." Johnson decided to take Henry to his home. "Henry, will you come with me? I want to do something for you," he said sincerely. Henry looked at Johnson in surprise. "Why?" "Who am I?" he asked. Johnson smiled. "Because I believe everyone deserves a chance, and you deserve that chance." Henry couldn't believe Johnson's words. What would Johnson do for him? And how would this decision affect both of their lives? Johnson took Henry to a luxury hotel and offered him a chance for a fresh start. Henry couldn't hold back his tears at this unexpected kindness. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. Johnson touched his shoulder. "Because sometimes touching someone's life can change everything." Henry felt hopeful again because of these words. But where would this new beginning take him? And what would Johnson learn in the process? Emily, true to her word, reached out to a local charity that supported homeless individuals. They provided Henry with temporary housing and counseling services. Johnson, meanwhile, used his connections to find Henry a part-time job at a community center. The job was simple, helping organize events and mentoring young people, but it gave Henry a sense of purpose. As weeks turned into months, Henry began to transform. He started smiling more, sharing stories with the kids at the center, and even reconnecting with old friends. One day, he approached Johnson with a small wrapped gift. "I wanted to thank you," Henry said, his voice trembling. Johnson opened the gift to find a framed photo of Henry, Johnson, and Emily at the community center. "You gave me a second chance," Henry said, "and I'll never forget it." But the story didn't end there. Johnson, inspired by Henry's transformation, decided to start a foundation to help others like him. He named it Anchor of Hope, after Henry's tattoo. The foundation provided housing, job training, and emotional support to those who had lost their way. Emily joined the foundation as its program director, using her teaching skills to create educational workshops. One evening, at the foundation's grand opening, Johnson stood on stage with Henry and Emily by his side. "This foundation is proof that one act of kindness can create a ripple effect," Johnson said to the crowd. "Henry taught me that no matter how lost someone seems, there's always hope. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to believe in them." The audience erupted into applause, but Henry stepped forward, holding up his hand for silence. "I want to say something," he began, his voice steady. "When I lost my family, I thought my life was over. But because of Dwayne and Emily, I found a new family. And now, I get to help others find theirs too. Thank you for giving me a second chance." As the event ended, Johnson pulled Henry aside. "You know, Henry, you've changed my life just as much as I've changed yours," he said. Henry smiled, his eyes glistening. "That's what happens when we care about each other. We all grow." The story of Henry, Johnson, and Emily became a beacon of hope in Los Angeles. Their friendship showed that even in the darkest times, kindness and connection could light the way. And as the foundation grew, so did their impact, proving that one small act of compassion could indeed change the world. So, are you ready to touch someone's life? Because as Henry, Johnson, and Emily learned, it's never too late to make a difference. And sometimes, the person you help might just end up helping you in return. This brings us to the end of this story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends, too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.